Salam alaikum, malaikum salam, alafia. Back at y'all again. I want to make this video to talk about the Palo Mayombe Divination and the spiritual reading. And the reason is because a lot of people do not understand how important it is to get a spiritual reading done before you perform any type of spiritual work. And one thing that I realized about the spiritual reading is that it also gives the client the ability to see that you are indeed an authentic priest, or that you have the ability to be able to diagnose their problem thoroughly and accurately. I have become more popular online due to my spiritual readings than even the spiritual work. And it's because many people will say after getting a reading with me that everything in the reading was accurate. And it's not that I'm special, more special than the next person. Is that I have learned and have been trained in how to use Palo Mayombe Divination. I don't talk about this stuff. I'm not the type of person that brags about it, and I definitely don't share secrets of the tradition online. That's something that you really will not see me doing. You won't see me doing that. You won't see me teaching you our rituals and our ceremonies and things of that nature. That is something that you need to come into the Monanzo in order to experience and witness, and that you need to be a part of the tradition itself in order to also get. I'm only here to share with you the wisdom, to share with you the insight of my own personal experience. I cannot speak for the experience of others, okay? But I have heard other people on social media, particularly YouTube, say that they do not do readings before work, that everything is common sense. Well, that's not true. It is, if you call yourself a spiritualist of any particular tradition, I'm sure that that particular tradition has its own divination system, and that divination system is there for a reason. The divination system is there because the divination system allows us to cover all checks and balances before we begin or send out or call up any particular spirit to perform any task for a person or ourselves. Before I do anything with the spirit, I perform a consultation. Shit, I perform consultation not just when I'm doing something with the spirit. I perform a consultation before I do some things in the physical. I may throw the shells before I go to a particular party. If I go out to this party tonight, is everything gonna be good? Yes or no? They say no. I'm gonna say, is there anything that I can do to make it good? No. Would it be in my best and highest interest to go to this party tonight? No, I ain't going. No explanation. Even if I told a person, I may not tell a person like, yo, I ain't going to the party tonight, man, because shit, Spirit said don't go. They ain't none of their fucking business to know that. I'm just gonna tell them, look, I don't feel like going. I just ain't feeling it. I ain't going. Tell me how it was. Matter of fact, dude, you probably shouldn't go either, but I can't tell you what to do. So if you go, just let me know how it was. I mean, that's how serious I am with it. That's how serious I am with it. You know what I mean? So divination before performing spiritual work, shit, that's a must. If you consider yourself, I guess you could call a witch doctor anybody who works in any of these traditions. So when you use the word doctor, that means that you're there to heal and prescribe a particular type of medicine. If you're here to heal and prescribe a particular type of medicine, in this case being a spiritual medicine, then what doctor have you ever been to that prescribed a medicine without doing an examination? The consultation or the spiritual reading is the examination. And through that examination, the spiritual priest is able to diagnose your problem so that he can prescribe the best spiritual medicine for that particular issue. The Palo Mayombe Divination is based on 3 different forms of divination. Okay? You have Chumbawamba, which uses the 4 coconuts, 4 seashells, or 4 wooden discs, which have been consecrated through a particular ritual in order to communicate with the Mfumbe of the Nganga, to communicate with the Nkisi. Okay? The Chamalango are the mouth of the dead. The dead speak through the Chamalango. This is why they're able to give answers of a yes or no quality. Now, if you are more attuned spiritually, while they're giving you yes or no answers, they will also speak to you, show you things. These things will also be confirmed by tossing the Chamalango. Okay? These things will also be confirmed by tossing the Chamalango. But the Chamalango are a system of divination that, well, I'll just say, look, instead of repeating everything, if you click the link in the description of the video, I actually wrote an article about it. I actually compiled an article about it through research and also my own practice. But if you click the link, you can also you can read that article and get a detailed description of Chamalango and how it actually works. But before I perform any particular spiritual work, Chamalango is something that has to be done. At least Chamalango. Okay? Now, if the person's situation seems to be, if the Chamalangos do not do a sufficient enough, if the Chamalangos are not sufficient enough to get to the bottom of the person's situation, then I will utilize a system of divination which I've been initiated into called Kabanga, Vatiti, and Kobo. This particular form of divination utilizes the Kori shells and 12 Palo Mayombe proverbs to decode these particular readings as they fall. Okay? But this particular form of divination gives us the ability to properly diagnose a problem more detailed and more intricately. It allows us to get more in depth with what is actually going on with the person. For example, a person was having blockages in their life. And I wrote about this in an article. A person was having blockages in their life. And originally they had gotten to it with somebody in one of the traditions. And the people in the tradition had them blocked. And originally we thought, you know, first thing you're going to think, you know, it's Lucero or it's Elegua or maybe Eshu, you know, that has their roads and doors closed. Okay? But when we checked with the Chamalango said that all roads and doors were open with these particular spirits. But yet this person was still blocked in a particular area of their life and they could not understand why. So through Nkobo, I was able to discover that this person was actually blocked with another spirit, Zarabanda. Zarabanda had actually had this person blocked, had some roads and some doors closed for this particular person. Okay? So, Nkobo is a very, very, very powerful form of divination that allows us to diagnose a problem more efficiently. Now, well, I'm not going to say that on camera. I don't want to give away, I don't like to talk about my own abilities on camera because I got people out there who don't like me and they actually work magic on me regularly. So the more information I give about my own abilities, they'll try and sabotage those abilities, send spirits to try to do shit and all that. So I try not to give away too much about my own experiences spiritually. But I can give you an example of, you know, how these things work. So the third form of divination is Vatiti Mensu. And Vatiti Mensu is what people will refer to as scrying. Okay? I'm pretty sure, you know, you heard people who use a crystal ball in the Wicca tradition, people who use the black obsidian mirror in the Wicca tradition and other forms of witchcraft and magic and spiritual arts. And they use this to scry and to look into the spiritual world. Well, Vatiti Mensu is very similar in that what it does is it uses a horn called an empake. It uses a horn called an impaki, which is filled with mysteries of an infumbe, or the dead. And it is capped with a mirror. This particular mirror, when utilized in a particular ritual, using insunga or cigar, allows the palero or palera to receive visions from that particular spirit about a particular situation or a person. Okay? Usually, when performing this type of divination, the palero will receive names, faces, places. Okay? You will receive very vivid visions, images of what's going on around a person. A lot of times you may get names. The spirit may reveal a name because that person whose name is being revealed is an intricate person involved in the situation that the person that you're dealing with is handling. Oftentimes I'll be like, well, who is this person? Who's Bob? Oh, Bob. Bob, that's the dude at my job. That's the dude that keep giving me all the problems. That's the dude, you know what I'm saying? He's one of the people who are working against me. Okay, well, the spirit just gave me his name because he's one of the people that obviously we need to deal with first and foremost. Okay? Through Vititi, I have been able to reveal to people who their first sexual encounter was with, and how that person who had that sexual encounter with them are still in love with them, still wants to be with them, and so forth. So Vititi Mental gives us the ability to see. Vititi, sight, gives us the sight, the ability to see. Okay? With these three forms of divination, you are able to properly diagnose a situation so that you can provide the best spiritual medicine possible for that person. You cannot use one spirit to do all things. You wouldn't go to Zarabanda to deal with a love situation, no more so than you would go to Mama Chola to deal with a war situation. But through these practices of divination, we're able to understand which particular Nkisi needs to be employed and how that Nkisi needs to be employed to handle a particular situation. So it's very important that any person looking to get any type of spiritual work done to invest a small amount of money for that palero or palera's time to get a consultation. Okay? These consultations can be done over the phone, unbeknownst to some people out there. I perform them over the phone on a daily basis, very successfully. Now, there are times in which, within the divination, the spirit will require the person to come into the monanzo for a particular cleaning or for a particular ceremony or a particular work. Okay, and during that time, then we will set up arrangements for that person to come into the temple where they can actually have that particular thing done. But for the most part, basic general readings and consultations can be done over the phone. A lot of times I do consultations live on video. I will call a person on WhatsApp or FaceTime them, and I will actually allow them to witness the chamalongos and witness the actual falling of the chamalongo so that they can see. Because my website explains to you what the different symbols mean, what the different letters mean when they fall. So when you see them on video, you know, okay, that's a yes, or that's a no, or damn, that's a hell no. You know what I mean? So don't let people tell you that you don't need no divination before you perform no spiritual work. These are people who probably do not have the ability to divine. These people usually don't have the ability to divine, so they're trying to avoid the process of divination, and they're trying to downgrade and discount and disregard the the very sacred practice of divination because they cannot divine. They cannot divine. So they're going to make you think that you don't need it, when in actuality, you do. Because you may be ready to shell out money for a spiritual work that you don't even need. You may think that you got witchcraft on you that's making you have problems in your life. And through divination, we can discover that there ain't no witchcraft. It's you. You need to fix this. You need to do this. You just need to clean off with this. You picked up an energy here. Sometimes I do divination for people and they seem to be having problems in their life. I remember one lady called me and she was like, I just keep having these problems. I keep having these problems. First thing the spirit said, she been at the cemetery. So I asked the lady, I said, have you been to a cemetery lately? Recently? She's like, yeah, I actually walk home from work and I walk through the cemetery every night. I'm like, oh shit, you done picked up some shit out the cemetery. Some shit that followed you home out of the cemetery that's actually causing problems in your life. Gave her the instructions on how to take a particular bath. She was good. She didn't need no spiritual work. She thought she did. She thought somebody was doing spiritual work on her. She thought somebody was cursing her. But all she invested was a little $66 for a spiritual consultation with me, and she found out that she didn't. Now, had she gone to another person on the internet who does not do divination, they would have just told her, oh man, you need to do this, you need to do that. Charged her hundreds of dollars, maybe even thousands in some cases. And she didn't even need that. Some of these spiritual workers are equivalent to the mechanic who will break something on your car just so you could come back to them to fix it. I don't do that. I don't do that. A lot of people talk about people being scammers on the internet. Let me give y'all a tip when it comes to paleros. If a palero has cobayende, if a palero has the enganga or the prenda of cobayende, it is not in his best interest to be a scammer. Cobayende does not like liars. Okay? And he will punish you with sickness if you are scamming people. I am one of those who have the enganga of cobayende. So, I don't want to be on Cobayende's bad side. I'm not going to take anybody's money, and I don't necessarily need to take their money. Okay? So you got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with that. Cobayende punishes scammers. I got a god sister. I got a god sister who does very well for herself. But unfortunately, my god sister, she liked to get over on people a lot. She liked to get over on people a lot. But guess what? She has a full Munanzo combo. All the Inquisis, except for Cobayende. My padrino will not give her Cobayende because she's known to rip people off. And he does not want her to, he don't want to risk her being punished by Cobayende because she's ripping people off. But you can't control everything, everybody. You're going to have bad seeds. You're going to have those people who do stuff like that. It doesn't take away from who you are as a padrino. It does not take away from your lineage or your rama or your house. You're going to have those people who do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just have to protect people from themselves. You got to protect people from themselves. So the spiritual consultation is very important. I would not suggest that you get any spiritual work done if you do not get a spiritual consultation. Even if you want, I've been known to give very, very good spiritual consultations, very good readings. If you want to get a reading from me, but you want to go do work with somebody else, you can do that. If you want to go get a reading from somebody else and then come and work with me, you can do that. But readings are like diagnosis. So if one person diagnosed you with a problem, go to another reputable priest of the same tradition and see what they say. Case in point, I had a client, right? Client turned on me. Client did me bogus, did me real bogus. Client actually went to one of my competitors, all right, and lied to my competitor and told my competitor that I had did some work. I had charged him a whole bunch of money to do some work on his daughter, because his daughter was suffering with leukemia. And my competitor used this information to try and slander me. And I actually did the work for the client for free. The client called me at like 2 in the morning, crying on the phone that his daughter, you know, they were saying his daughter had 2 days to live, that they didn't know how much longer she was gonna live. I get out of bed, I go to Chumbawamba, I tell him, send me your daughter's picture. At the time I had a printer that actually printed out color pictures. So I printed out his daughter's picture, got her name and everything. You know, I lit some candlelight, said some prayers for his daughter, asked Chumbawamba to protect her, to not allow death to take her. You know, asked Cynthia and Doki to block her from entering the gates. And his daughter recovered. But when he betrayed me, because the situation with his love life had not fully manifested. It was manifesting, but it had not fully manifested. He got impatient and he started to get angry with me. And when he got angry with me, I kind of snapped on him. So he went to my enemy and lied. But when he did that, the woman that he was supposed to be with left with the daughter and moved to another state. Now he can't even see his daughter because she moved to another state. But when I talked to the brother was on my mind a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I have a heart, I have compassion. Like, I don't stay angry at people, you know? He told me he went to one of my competitors' home. And I had told the brother too. I told him, I said, man, the reason why your life going the way is going is because you need to be initiated into Palo. I told him that. And I told him that I would do it. I told him I would do it. I said, I'll help you, man. I said, I know you don't have the usual ticket for initiation, the usual derecho for initiation. I said, but I'll help you out, man. If you could come up with this much, then we can facilitate the ceremony, and then you could just pay the Monanzo back, you know what I'm saying, after you're initiated, as things start to get better in your life. But then he betrayed me shortly after that and went to my competitor, who did a reading for him in person. I did the reading over the phone. The competitor did the reading over in person. And do you know that the competitor gave him the same diagnosis that I gave him? The reason why your life is going the way it's going is because you need to be initiated into Palo. And you know what the competitor told him? Oh, it's going to be $1,500. Come back to me when you got it. Now he done fucked up with me. And the competitor is all about that bread, so he ain't really trying to hear nothing but bring the $1,500 and I'll help you out. I was willing to help him out for a couple of $100, get him in and let him pay the Monanzo back. But that was just a prime example of how you can go to 2 different people and get confirmed that the problems that you're dealing with are, you know, indeed what it is. You know, you can go to 2 different particular priests. Those priests ain't even gotta like each other. But the spirit ain't gonna lie. The spirit gonna tell it the same. You know what I mean? So, consultation is something that you do not want to disregard. It's not something that you want to discount. It's definitely something that you want to take very serious if you want to get really good spiritual work done. You know what I mean? You really want to get really good spiritual. You want to get to the root of the problem. You don't want to see, some people, they don't care how you do the spiritual work. This is why they go to people who don't do readings. They just like, I don't give a fuck. Bring his ass back to me. I don't care what got to happen to him. I don't care if his legs got to get broke. I don't care whatever happens. Bring him back to me. I don't need no reading done. I know exactly what I want. He with that bitch, and I want that bitch to die, and I want him to come back to me right now, blah, 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 blah. Those kind of people, they don't need readings. Even though I'm going to still do a reading. Even if you come to me that way, I'm going to still do the reading before I do your work. And if something come up in the reading that lets me know, look, man, I'm going to let you know right now that if this work goes out, this is what possibly is going to happen to you. Because remember, for every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. So the reason why you pay that derecho is a licencia to work with the spirit. So once you pay that licencia, once you pay that derecho, it's out of my hands. At that point, the karma is yours. Anything that happens behind the work is on you. Because you paid the spirit to do it, not me. Now, if I go out and pay for everything and then we was out here doing work for free and doing fucked up shit for people for free, then the karma behind certain situations will come back on the actual practitioner. This is why we ask for a derecho. Sometimes when people don't have money, I just tell them to send me $21. Send me 20. If they really need help and they don't have nothing, I'll be like, give me $21 and I'll do it. But I gotta take something so that so whatever karma from the situation is on you and not on me. You see what I'm saying? So I hope I covered a lot in this particular video. Definitely click the links below if you would like to read the article about Palo Mayombe Divination and the spiritual reading. Follow me on my Instagram. I like to go live on Instagram. So far, I've been posting videos on Instagram, like 1-minute videos, but I'm about to start going live on Instagram, doing lectures on Instagram. I'm also about to start doing lectures on Facebook, so definitely click the link and follow my Facebook page. And you can follow my Twitter too. Sometimes I blurb a little bit on Twitter. You can follow my Twitter. Subscribe, like, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you would like to contact me with any questions, you can always contact me with a question by clicking the link below and coming to my contact page and submitting a question. Serious inquiries only, though. I really don't have time for people to try to pick my brain and get, you know, free insight and all of that stuff. When you book your consultation, which you can also click a link in the description to do, when you book your consultation, you'll see that there's time slots there. So now when you book a consultation with me, you can actually book what time you actually want to speak with me. And you'll see what times I'm actually available. Okay? You can book far in advance. You can book the same day. It all depends. It's on you. But you can book and pay for your consultation right there. The appointment will automatically go to my phone and be updated in my calendar. So as soon, 30 minutes before it's time for us to meet, I'll get an alert saying, you know, time for Susan's consultation. I'll give you a call on time. So that's why I ask people to be serious. Make sure you're serious. Don't contact me if you're just trying to pick my brain, if you're on some bullshit, or if you're working with my competitors to try to get information from me. I'm going to see it. I'm going to know it. I'm not going to give you anything, and I'm probably not going to answer. I'm going to hang up. So just don't play around. Just be serious. That's all I ask. Take this practice very serious. Take your spiritual work very serious. Take what I tell you in the consultation very serious. This is not to be played with. All right? So I appreciate y'all for watching. Definitely like and subscribe. And I'll see y'all on the next video. Peace.